Hi everyone, we are the Resportive team and we are going to start introducing ourselves. The main motivation to start this project is linked to the desire to manage the excessive volume of textile waste that is currently accumulated as a result of fast fashion and textile associated with the health pandemic we are suffering. Everything has to go through a paradigm shift in the consumption model of the society, but faced with the impotence of seeing that today's society is far from changing its consumption habits. The greatest need for change lies with the textile industry and its professionals. Because we are connected to this industry as we are engineering students, we are facing a responsibility that will determine the life model of future generations. On the personal levels, the motivation lies in the opportunity to develop a huge, complex, and impacting ideas with the help of professionals to start moving to a more sustainable textile industry, and the illusion of thinking that perhaps it can become a real business idea. The fact of being able to manage a real problems makes the hard work behind us more motivating. The multidisciplinary nature of the group means that each one can contribute more specifically ideas in the fields in which she is specialized, and thus have different points of view that enrich the solution proposed by the group, providing versatility.
For us, the term sustainable fashion has multiple meanings. We are immersed in the most technical part of fashion, and we know the strength and the weakness of each stage of whole process to creating a garment. But to summarize this term, we will base ourselves in our sensibility, both producers and consumers, for more sustainable materials and garments with a better quality, durability, and based on social ethics. The consumers must know the blockchain of garment that he or she is consuming and be aware of the value chain behind it in order to be able to appreciate each garment of accessory that is deserved, not based on impulse of buying to follow the trend.
We know that the current situation isn't sustainable. If we continue with a model of fast fashion and uncontrolled consumption, in the end we will reach a saturation point where we cannot go back. For us, thinking about the concepts of circularity, sustainability, and environment when making our designs is an obligation, as we would like to be able to change the linear consumption model to a circular model. Because of this, we believe that we must not only think about what we buy, but what we produce. So our bet is to give a second life to everything that ends up in a textile waste. It's not just thinking about sustainability, it's thinking and designing taking into account how we can close the cycle, how we can one day get zero waste, in which everyone we consider was allowed to be reintroduced into the value chain of it or another product.
As a professionals in the textile sector, we feel responsible for the wastes we know that on our field generates, so we decided to look for a second life. We cannot turn our backs on the current situation. Tons of textile wastes are generated every day that end up in the third world countries or incinerators, and we are aware that we cannot continue like this. Knowing how the system currently works, we decided to create a versatile material made from this waste. Moreover, given the current health situation, we believe that our system could absorb much of the textile waste that is being generated by COVID, no longer being a problem. With this new material, the first application that came to mind was the creation of insoles and in the product within the same textile sector, making it responsible for reducing the waste it generates, giving it new possibilities.
Despite the fact that we all belong to the textile nowadays, we come from different sectors, and that is a key to our success. Being a multidisciplinary group, we enrich ourselves with the knowledge of each one to add greater value to our product. On the other hand, being present in the sector is what offers us the potential to know with the needs the market have and how we can focus our idea. This project was born from the common vision of all the components that the textile industry demands are revolutionary towards sustainability. A vision that could be non-existent if we had not experienced firsthand how textiles work and the environmental consequences it entails.
Our product is based on post-consumption textile recycling that is more difficult to recycle comparing it with pre-consumption. So it's not that our product has these thoughts from the beginning, but these are the basis. That's why we focus on working with nearby companies, minimizing transport and using eco-friendly packaging. So that it's not just a product, but our whole process is environmentally sustainable. Regarding circularity, our product closes one cycle as we are using textile waste as a prime material. Therefore, we cannot assure a second cycle because when our product ends its useful life and has to be recycled, its properties will decrease, so we cannot assure that we could use this material to bring new product into the market.
The proposal presented tried to embrace a large number of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and those with highlights in blocks are highlighted below. And we will start with Objective 5, Gender Equality, because Resportive is a project created and led by 6 women. We want to improve all women as well as improve gender equality. Then we move to Objective A, Decent Work and Economic Growth. Thanks to this project, new jobs will be created and these jobs are being sustainable, inclusive, sustainable, economic, and with growth will be promoted. Industry, innovation and infrastructure, because Resportive is committed to carry out an innovation product or service with focus on sustainable production. This point is closely related to Objective 12, that is responsible consumption and production. It seeks to sensitize the population about the unsustainable consumption of textile material in the way that is expected to reach more sustainable production and to promote the reduced waste from the textile sector.
Also, the Objective 13, that is climate action. The textile sector is one of the most polluting industries. That is why they want to adopt urgent measures to combat climate change and its negative effects. And the last one is the Objective 14, life below water. The dyeing, finishing, and other processes generates a large amount of chemical waste that ends up in the sea. Additionally, microfibers in textile waste can present a serious hazard to marine species. In the future, we hope to be able to contribute to a greater number of objectives and to bring public awareness of the critical situation that is being experienced, and to be able to educate citizens to reduce the current negative impact.
At the beginning of the design process, we were sure about the main idea of the project, to help reduce the large amount of textile waste that currently exists. Even though one of the main difficulties that we had was to find the best way to solve this problem. Our ideas were through a service or through a physical product. In order to come up with the best solution, we contact experts in this sector, both within the university and outside. Another difficulty that we encountered was to have the right machinery to carry out the first prototypes, as well as to get funding opportunities and start creating a network of contacts and partners. That's why we start to investigate different contents and training programs, so we can start getting funding opportunities and also let us know by other companies.
First of all, you have to think of consumption as a necessity and not as a hobby. Especially in clothes consumption, people need to do are reserved. They live much more comfortable without so much clothes. You have less to clean, collect, and place, and therefore less stress. We have never understood why shopping for clothes is fun. Having only what you need means a more sustainable lifestyle, not only for the planet, but for the people themselves.
Similarly, not all the responsibility lies with the average citizen. Large corporations must put inside practice such a low price production but a very high cost, because it is obtained at the expense of the exploitation of people in less developed countries. Although this has been reported for years and the situation has remitted minimally, wages are still shameful. In addition, these types of practice are very inevitable because they involve long distance transport that contaminates the environment. You should bet on local produce and quality and go against quantity and low prices.
The accomplishments we are achieving, including Food Fashion Now and WeDesign, represent another step forward work that we develop, fully convinced that this long-awaited transformation of the production and consumption system is going to be achieved. Regarding the institutions, we believe that the change is taking place, but that we have started quite late. Therefore, much more effort is needed, and also it's really important that the political will help the society. As a proposal, we would say that in addition to encourage the work of teams like ours through petitions, the next step would be to encourage the investors to really believe in this type of initiative with conviction and promote them. However, and for the better, the will of investors and politicians is increasing since they have observed a considerable increase of demand for sustainable products, an issue that has put sustainability in the spotlight as a source of profitability and benefits.